Hello and good morning to you. This is Dr. Bill Bledsoe bringing you another glorious session of your prayers said aloud in the privacy of your own home. This is a magnificent way to pray. I just begin the prayers, but you finish them with your heartfelt concerns, your walk with God, your personal relationship with God. So it's just an amazing way to heal our bodies and our minds at the same time. So we'll begin with my prayer. God, I thank you for this amazing method of prayer, this method of us doing body movements to heal our bodies while our prayers heal our minds, our spirits, and our souls. I thank the generations that have brought this to us, from the house of Abraham, the house of David, from Jesus, his mother Mary, Father Joseph, and Virginia Ellen, who wrote the book, Sacred Heart Yoga, so anybody can practice this ancient method of prayer any way they want, anytime they want. I thank all of them. Amen. Now, if you'll repeat after me, we'll begin with the Sacred Heart Yoga morning prayer. Beloved God, I devote this practice this day to the evolution of my soul, to the fulfillment of my destiny, in service to your love, O God. And I allow myself to be purified of fear as I rejoice in your kingdom of heaven and your love, O God. And I give thanks for these blessings, these moments that I can share with my body, my mind, my spirit, and my soul in oneness with your love, O God. And so it is. Amen. Om. Now we always tone aloud together at the end to know that it's time to move on to the next prayer. This next prayer, we're going to do an arm motion, and it's to release our normal daily fears. You know, we got to hurry up and get done, get the kids off school, get to work on time, get to this must be done on time, that must be done. You know, those are all fears. You know, gosh, I can't get it done. I can't get to work on time. And fear prevents our ability to love. It's just real clear, real simple. You cannot be terrified of somebody and still love them. If they're pointing a gun to your head, you cannot love them. So we just release our fears twice in Sacred Heart Yoga. So here we do an arm motion. Our right arm will go straight up to the 12 o'clock position. We'll let it fall over to the 3 o'clock position, right knee, left knee, 9 o'clock position, and then back up to the 12 o'clock position above our heads. As we do this motion, our prayers, repeat after me. Beloved God, I clear my energy field of anyone or anything standing within. I bless them and I send them into your love, your light, O God. Om. Now the rest of the prayers, I'll begin and I'll say, and our prayers begin with, and I'll just give you a few words. You repeat those, and then you must finish it with your own heartfelt concerns. And you will be blessed. You will be given gifts and miracles like you won't believe if you just pray every day. That's what's happened to me. And so on this one, we're going to ask God, how may we serve you this day? And for me, the answer comes in a heartfelt feeling. Um, uh, and it either that or one or two words now and then, and I don't understand the one or two words, so I'll incorporate whatever I get, even if it's nothing. I incorporate it into the rest of my prayers. And every single time I've done Sacred Heart Yoga, I have been given a gift of wisdom, of knowledge, of something, understanding, or something to do in service to the love of God. And so here we take our right hands over our hearts, and our prayers begin with, God, how may I serve you this day? Om. Now we're going to stand up and announce out loud what came to us. We do this by standing straight and tall, our arms at our sides, our palms forward. And here our prayers begin with, God, my intention to serve you this day is to... Om. Now we're going to sing the word Amen 3 times, any tune we want, any pitch we want, whatever feels right for us in our own homes. In Aramaic, in Jesus's tongue, saying the word Amen 3 times is how we sealed an oath to someone else or to God. So here we're going to sing it aloud. Amen. 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 Now we're going to sit back down on the mats and we'll lay down on our backs in resting position, which is our legs outstretched, our arms at our sides. Now we pull our right knee up to our chest, holding it there with our arms and our hands. And here our prayers begin with, God, my true Father, I love you and I thank you for... Om. Now we must take we must. Now we take our right foot in our left hand, hold it over to our left thigh, let our right knee fall down to the mat. Our right arm gets extended straight above our heads down to the mat. And here our prayers begin with God, my true Father, I love you and I thank you for all. Now we switch hands, taking our right foot in our right hand, holding it down near our pelvis. Our left arm gets extended straight above our heads this time, down to the mat. And here our prayers begin with God, my true Father, I love you and I thank you for all. Now we put our right foot up towards the heavens, holding it with our right hand, and our prayers begin with God, my true Father, I love you and I thank you for all. Now we go back to resting. No, not yet. We let our right leg fall out to our right side of our bodies, opening our pelvis as wide as we can, extending our leg out. Our arms fall straight out to the sides from our chest down to the mat. And here our prayers begin with God, my true Father, I love you and I thank you for all. Now we turn our heads to the right, keeping our arms down flat on the mat. And we take our right foot and point it up towards the heavens and take it over to the left side of our bodies, keeping our shoulders flat on the mat. Our leg goes over to the left side, down to the mat. And here our prayers begin with God, my true Father, I love you and I thank you for
Om. Now we go back to resting position and we pull our left knee up to our chest, holding it there with our arms and our hands. And here our prayers begin with God, my true mother, I love you and I thank you for Om. Now we take our left foot in our right hand, pull it over to our right thigh, let our left knee fall down to the mat, and our left arm gets extended straight above our head, stretched out down to the mat. And here our prayers begin with God, my true mother, I love you and I thank you for Om. Now we take our left foot in our left hand, holding it down near our pelvis. Our right arm gets extended straight above our heads, this time down to the mat. And here our prayers begin with God, my true mother, I love you and I thank you for Om. Now we take our left foot and point it up towards the heavens, holding it with our left hand, and our prayers begin with God, my true mother, I love you and I thank you for Om. Now we let our left foot fall out to the left side of our bodies, extending our legs straight out, opening our pelvis as wide as we can. Our arms fall straight out to the sides from our chest, down to the mat, palms up. And here our prayers begin with, God, my true mother, I love you, and I thank you for... Om. Now we turn our heads to the left, keeping our shoulders down flat on the mat. We take our left foot, point it up towards the heavens, and go over to the right side of our bodies, down to the mat. And here our prayers begin with, God, my true mother, I love you, and I thank you for... Om. Now we go back to resting position, legs outstretched, arms at our sides. And this time we're going to, for a second time, try to get rid of our fears. Anything that's, just sitting there eating at us. It will prevent our ability to love God, feel God's love in return. So we're going to, for a second time, try to remove our fears. This time we are going to surrender them into God's love, into the service of God's love. And we do this by putting our hands under our sit bones, leaning forward on our elbows, trying to touch the tops of our heads back down to the mat. And here our prayers begin with, God, into your love, I surrender my fears of... Om. Now we go back to resting position, and we reach for the heavens with our left hand. Let it fall over to the right side of our bodies. This stretches our left back and shoulder. And we take our right hand halfway between our left elbow, left shoulder, and stretch our left shoulder and back over farther. And here our prayers begin with, God, in service to your love, I choose to... Om. Now Now we switch hands. Right hand goes up towards the heavens, falls over to the left side of our bodies, and here our prayers begin with. We hold our right arm with our left hand halfway between our right shoulder, right elbow, stretching it over a little farther. And here our prayers begin with, God, in service to your love, I can. Om. Now we take and go back to resting position, pull our feet up to our pelvis, let our knees fall out to the outside of our bodies, down to the mat. And we're forming a tabernacle, a house of God, a triangle below our bodies. We form a second tabernacle or house of God above our hearts by putting our hands in prayer position, moving them up 2/3 of the way up to the heavens. And in this tabernacle of our hearts, we find God's beautiful chalice overflowing with anything we could ever desire, want, or need in service to God's love. So here our prayers begin with, God, I drink from your chalice, your gifts to me of. Om. Now we take our hands down to the mat right above the tops of our heads. Our elbows fall out to the sides. This forms a tabernacle over our entire bodies. So our prayers begin with, God, I thank you for healing my mind, my body, my spirit, and my soul. Om. Now we're going to start the anointing series. It's a series of 4 prayers. We keep our hands in prayer position the whole while during all 4 of them, and then we repeat the same prayers a second time. And it's because they're so important. Here we are to acknowledge the gifts that God just gave us, the gifts that we've been given in the past. We thank God for them, and we promise to only use them in service to sharing God's love with all humanity. That's our purpose in life. And so we put our hands in prayer position and we touch our thumbs to our foreheads, and our prayers begin with, God, I anoint your gifts to me of. Om. Now we take our thumbs down to our lips and our prayers begin with, God, I bless, and I will only use them in service to your love, your gifts to me of. Om. Now we take our hands down over our hearts and our prayers begin with, God, I truly thank you for your gifts to me of. Om. Now we take our fingers, point them down into our abdomens. And this is a motion this time. We move our fingers out to right above our pelvis, extending our arms out straight like the arms of a clock at the 3 o'clock position. Then we move our arms counterclockwise like the arms of a clock up towards the heavens, the 12 o'clock position, and then down above our heads, down to the mat at the 9 o'clock position. As we do this motion, our prayers begin with, God, I fill my body, my mind, my spirit, and my soul with your gifts to me of. Om. Now we are going to repeat those same 4 prayers and thank, just truly, truly thank God for these gifts he's given us. We take our thumbs back to our foreheads and our prayers begin with, God, I anoint your gifts to me of. Om. Now we take our thumbs down to our lips and our prayers begin with, God, I bless, and I will only use them in service to your love for humanity. Your gifts to me of. Om. Now we take our hands down over our hearts in prayer position, and our prayers begin with, God, I truly thank you for your gifts to me of Om. Now we point our fingers down into our abdomens, extend them out to above our pelvis at the 3 o'clock position, move them up to a 12 o'clock position, a 9 o'clock position over our heads. And our prayers begin with, God, I fill my body, my mind, my spirit, and my soul with your gifts to be of Om. Now we go back to resting position. We cross our right ankle over our left ankle, our right wrist over our left wrist, over our hearts, and our prayers begin with, God, I thank you for always protecting me and keeping me safe. Om. Now we're going to roll over on our sides, push ourselves up into sitting position using our arms and our hands. We extend our right leg straight out in front of us. We take our left foot across our right knee. We hold our left knee with our right arm up to our chest. Our left arm goes behind our backs for support as we twist our arms, our shoulders, and our backs to the left. And here our prayers begin with, God, in service to sharing your love with all humanity, I choose to Om. Now we take our
left foot straight out in front of us. Our right foot goes over to the left side. Of our left knee. Our left arm holds our right knee up near our chest. Our right arm goes behind our backs for support. Turn our heads to the right. And our prayers begin with, God, in service to your love for all humanity, I will. Om. Now we're going to get up on our knees. We will put our hands in prayer position over our hearts. And here our prayers begin with, God, I truly thank you for Om. Now we make a tabernacle with our hands by putting the tips of our fingers together, the tips of our thumbs, first finger together, and the tips of our thumbs together. And we put this tabernacle down on the mat in front of us, and we lean over in child's pose, and we're going to put our foreheads into this tabernacle. And here we're just going to take a minute and feel God's love all around us. Om. Now we go back to sitting position. We're going to extend our right leg out to the right side this time and take our left foot to the inside of our right thigh. And here our prayers begin with, God, in service to your love of humanity, I will become. Om. Now we take our left leg out to the left side. Our right foot comes up to the inside of our left thigh. And here our prayers begin with, God, serving your love for all humanity, I am. Om. Now we go back to sitting position. This time, sitting straight and tall, we put our hands on our knees, palms up, thumbs touching our middle two fingers. This forms little tabernacles with our hands. We sit straight and tall with our backs and bend forward, bow forward at our pelvis, keeping our back straight. And here our prayers begin with, I bow to your love, O God, for healing my body, my mind, my spirit, my soul. Om. Now we sit back up straight and tall a second time, and we bow forward at our pelvis, keeping our back straight. And here our prayers begin with, I bow to your love, O God, my true Father, my true Mother, the One, the Oneness. Om. Now we sit up straight and tall a third time, and we feel where we're grounded down to the mat on the left side and right side of our pelvis. On the left side of our pelvis, we can feel God's wonderful white light of love entering our bodies, filling our legs to the fullest with God's white light of love, all the way to the tips of our toes, filling our abdomens with God's love, God's white light, filling our hearts so full that our hearts act like beacons of God's love to the world. God's white light of love fills our lungs so that with every breath we take in more of God's love, God's white light. God's white light fills our arms all the way to the tips of our fingers, comes up through our throats and into our minds, bursting and filling our minds with God's love and peace. Then it goes out the tops of our heads in this wide, fanning out in all directions beam of light. And this beam of light circles the entire earth and rains down God's white light of love on every single living creature there is. Now we feel on the right side of our pelvis God's beautiful blue light of truth. God's blue light of truth fills our legs to the tips of our toes. It fills our abdomens, every cell and every organ. It comes up and fills our hearts with knowingness, with truth, with discernment. God's blue light comes up into our lungs, and with every breath, we intake more of God's blue light into our bodies. God's blue light goes into our arms, to the tips of our fingers, up to our necks, and into our minds, giving us God's wisdom when He wants us to have it, God's truth, God's discernment as we need it. It's all there for our asking, and will be there when we need it. God's blue light of truth goes out the tops of our heads, fanning out in all directions and going out and surrounding the whole earth and raining down God's blue light of truth on every living creature for them to choose if they so want. Now we can step up into the light above our heads, stay as long as we want, ask anything we want. But the one thing we should always ask before leaving is, God, what do I need to know this day?